Hi there, y'all. I'm Paula Deen, and I love to garden almost as much as I love to cook. And today, I'm entertaining some of the ladies from my garden club. First, I think we'll whip up this tangy shrimp marinade. And next, I'll give you a recipe courtesy of a friend of mine for tomato sandwiches that'll take just about all and every herb you can throw at them. And finally, my minty watermelon salad. It's so refreshing. So prune back the front walk, because the ladies are coming to lunch. I started cooking when I was 18 years old as a new bride. I'm very lucky because I came from a family of wonderful Southern cooks. And at 42 years old, I was faced with having to support myself and my two sons. So I turned to my first love, which is cooking. And so I started cooking for a living. I think food is such a big part of family, and I hope that y'all can watch me and learn to have fun with yours while building wonderful memories around the food that you're preparing. Oh, hi. You caught me going through my herb cabinet. I'm having my girlfriends over today for a nice healthy lunch, and I'm going to need some herbs, and I'm just sick of these dried herbs. So I think right here at the last minute, I'm going to dash out of here and try to find some fresh ones, and I hope y'all will come with me. The absolute best place to find anything fresh is at the farmer's market. So I headed straight to the Monkshood nursery booth where I knew my friend David Rowley would have exactly what I needed.
Hello.
Hey, David.
How are you, Paula?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I'll be better if you can help me with some herbs today, though.
Certainly.
I am making a tangy marinated shrimp that I'm going to need some fresh parsley for.
Okay.
I'm making tomato sandwiches
that
I'll either use dill or basil with. I haven't made up my mind, so I want both.
Okay.
And I'm making a fresh watermelon salad.
With some mint?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm putting mint in it.
Okay. Well, let's start off with the parsley here. We have the regular curly parsley, which is great for decoration. And we have the Italian parsley.
Love the Italian.
Which is stronger in flavor and has more vitamin C in it.
Okay.
For the mint, we have regular spearmint, which is absolutely great flavor-wise. Very profuse grower, helps settle upset stomachs.
And you know what else? I may need some chives.
Okay. I have regular chives, which is just the normal onion flavor.
Yeah.
And then I also have the garlic chives, which is garlic and onion together.
Which do you like the best?
I like the garlic chives the best.
See, I love garlic too.
And basil today, we have sweet Genovese, which is a very sweet, tangy, the basil everybody uses for everything. Then I have the spicy globe, which grows like a globe and tastes kind of spicy. Red Reuben.
Now, I just love the color of it.
It's great flavor and very attractive to add to like tomato salads and stuff.
Well, before I leave today, I want you to show me how to put together an indoor herb pot.
For the pot, very important to have a drainage hole
Yes.
to let the excess water out. Then we're just going to put in compost. We'll put some garlic chives in the side.
So you're kind of putting the low growers down,
the low growers
is that
in the
right?
sides. Then when these are in here, we're just going to fill it up with soil in the top.
Tell me just a few quick tips for people at home that don't live in the weather like I live in.
To keep them in the house on the windowsill, don't let them sit in water for too long. And harvesting, for example, basil to harvest, just pinch out just above the leaves there, and you get twice as much next time.
I love big stuff. You know, big hair, big plants, big everything. Can you stick me some big ones in there?
Yeah, we have this red Reuben basil. It's going to get 2.5 foot tall. It's going to look huge in this pot after a while. And the more you harvest it, the more it's going to get big. And we could put maybe some dill in the top too.
I love dill.
And dill is going to get to about 3 or 4 foot tall.
Good. Now you're going to help me get this to my car?
Certainly.
Because I have requested a big pot from you and it's heavy. I sure do appreciate it, David.
No problem.
Thanks
Thank you.
so much. And my car is right over here.
Oh, okay.
We had great luck today at the garden shop, didn't we? I was so fortunate to run into David, and I was thrilled that he taught me how to set up a herb garden for my house. All my herbs being outside, I just love this idea. I've got everything I think I'm going to need for today's dishes. In fact, the first dish that I'm doing today is a tangy marinated shrimp. And this is just an easy, tasty recipe, and I serve it at so many cocktail parties. Olive oil, white vinegar, house seasoning. And we're just gonna blend that together like that. And the recipe calls for mayonnaise, but since the girls and I are thinking about our waistlines today, I'm gonna go with yogurt. Or if you wanted to, you could go with a light or a fat-free mayonnaise. We're gonna do a couple of tablespoons of coarse mustard, and that looks about right. And we're gonna do 2 scant tablespoons of anchovy paste. And we don't want to put too much though, because you know this is salty and we've already got our salt in there, so we can always go back and add a little bit more of that. We're just going to whisk that up, and we're going to use the juice of 1 lemon. This little reamer is just great. It'll get every drop of that juice out. And lemon is so good with shrimp. And for color, I'm going to just slice up some red bell pepper, and we're going to drop the rings in there. Now you can do anything you want to. Lots of times I'll even put sliced fresh mushrooms in mine, and it just gives it a different texture and just adds one more nice flavor to the pot. This is another one of those dishes that you can just have fun with. And I'm going to put some green onions, just chopped green onions, and I'm using perfectly cooked boiled shrimp. And you see I'm leaving the tails on because we're going to eat these with our fingers. So we're just going to toss all that in there, and I'm just going to toss those shrimp and vegetables in the marinade. Isn't that pretty? The red and the green and the coral color from the shrimp. Well, I think all this needs now is some coarse ground black pepper and of course the herbs that we went out to get. And I think I'm going to do chives. And let me show you while we're down here how to clip those. You clip them right at the top of the white. And then those will come back and give me lots more chives. And I'm going to do some fresh parsley. And this dish is all done just in a matter of a few minutes. And you know I'm a snipper with scissors, so that's the way I'm going to do it, because I want to kind of keep them in fairly big pieces. And I'm going to cut these at an angle. I don't know, that's just a Paula quirk. That's just the way I like them cut. Okay, we've got those herbs that we went for. Now we're just going to top this off with some fresh ground black pepper. So we're going to cover this and stick it in the fridge, and we're going to marinate it anywhere from 2 hours to overnight, whatever time it'll allow for you. Okay, we're going to let that one rest, but I have another one over here ready for you, and I want to just show you how I would serve it and plate it. Yes, this one has been soaking, and he's just drank in all those wonderful flavors. Make a nice full plate of lettuce, and I'm just going to mound this up and get a little of the marinade and drizzle over it, and that'll help dress that lettuce because we'll be eating that too. I'm going to stick a few more fresh chives on it. Aren't they pretty? And a couple of tomato wedges and a lemon twist, and it's ready to be eaten. These marinated shrimp are a great start to a light lunch. Coming up next, I'm going to be fixing Lucille Wright's tomato sandwiches. Savannah would never dream of having a party or having the girls over without them, so stick around.
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
The next dish we're going to be working on is such a simple dish. It's just incredibly simple. But Savannah would not dream of having the girls over for lunch or a cocktail party without these delicate, tasty little sandwiches. In fact, I don't know if you've read John Barrett's Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, but it talks about the parties that Jim Williams used to throw. And there was one lady in town that was the only person that was allowed to cater his parties. And her name was Miss Lucille Wright. And I'm sorry to say that she's no longer with us, but Jim would not have a party without her. And people would just die to get an invitation to his parties. and we're going to make Miss Lucille's tomato sandwiches today. I'm going to start by dropping our tomatoes in some boiling water just until the skin splits. We're not going to keep them in there very long. And now we're going to dunk them in ice water very quickly because we don't want the tomato to cook because we're using a fresh ripe tomato. This is just going to help us slip the skin off easier. And if you don't want to do this, you could actually peel the skin with a paring knife. Miss Lucille was so highly sought after by Savannah society that if a lady called to book a party with Miss Lucille and she was already booked, the ladies wouldn't go find another caterer. They would reschedule their party. Now that's how much they thought of Miss Lucille and all of her food. All right, we can see that the skin is split, and that's the last one, so I'm going to turn that off. All right, we're going to get these peeled now that I've got them good and chilled. But these parties that Jim Williams threw were the height of Savannah society. Everybody sat around at Christmas time just waiting, hoping and praying that they wouldn't be culled from the Christmas list. All right, we're going to take these out and let them drain a little bit. This is a very, very simple sandwich to make, but I just want to give you a couple of tips that will make your tomato sandwiches even better. You'll want to size up your bread with your tomatoes. So you wouldn't want to go out and buy a tomato this big when you're making tomato sandwiches. And you can see that I've got my biscuit cutter over here, and you see that the sizes are going to match real good. So all we're going to do now is put these tomatoes on a paper towel to drain. Now we're just going to sprinkle these with a little seasoning, and that salt is going to pull the water out of the tomato so that we won't have soggy tomato sandwiches. And plus it'll give it a zippy little flavor. We're going to take our bread, and I like to do only one slice at the time, which is a little slower, but that's just the way I like to do it. And don't throw away these, because you can save them and put them in the skillet in the morning and put your child's egg in the center and have Popeyes for breakfast. And they also make great croutons. This is a nice fresh bread. Speaking of fresh bread, you have to be careful that it's not too fresh because it'll be hard to cut. But this is just right. And you can do all this the day before. You can get you a plastic container and cut your bread, and then dampen you very, very lightly. Dampen some paper towels and cover them in that, and they'll be just as fresh tomorrow, because you really don't want to make your sandwiches ahead of time. You want to kind of do them at the last minute. In fact, I've done many a party where I'm behind the scenes in the back putting these tomato sandwiches together just as quickly as I can. Now you can play with this, but I'm going to follow this just like Miss Lucille did it. And that's mayonnaise, a little salt, fresh ground pepper, a little shake of accent, and some fresh grated onion will really produce a lot of strong onion flavor. In fact, I can feel it running down my fingers right now. This one's got a lot of juice in it. So just a little. You know, I never knew Jim Williams. When I moved to Savannah back in the 80s, I can't remember if he had just gone to jail or he had just died. Either way, it was bad news. So we're just gonna smear just a little on the bread. So this is all we're gonna do. And just top them, and aren't they pretty? And I'm gonna do one thing that Miss Lucille doesn't do. And I just found that this makes my plate pretty. All we're gonna do is dab my finger ever so lightly in mayonnaise, dab it onto the breads, and this is gonna act as a glue. I'm gonna take a little petal of parsley and stick on each of those dabs of mayonnaise. And it just adds a nice little touch of color. So that gets them all ready. And Rennie, you look so sad, girl, but I'm sorry, these are for me. I'm I'm sorry. Stick around because watermelon salad's coming up.
I hope y'all are enjoying the show, and I want to hear from you. Tell me what recipes or videos you'd like to see me make by just leaving a short comment below. Now, let's get back to the show, y'all.
I'm just gathering up the rest of my ingredients for this watermelon salad. We're just going to trim that meat, and I'm just going to finish cubing this. All right, now we're going to make our dressing. We're going to start with an olive oil, a good olive oil, red wine vinegar, pepper, and I love the pepper. Love what it does to the watermelon. This recipe was given to me by Damon Fowler, a buddy that lives in Savannah, and I'm just crazy about Damon. We have the best time when we get together. Down south, we go watermelon crazy for a few months. We're going to let that sit and just mix up a little bit, and we're going to just slice some onion rings. A purple onion would be real pretty in this if you had it. You could even add some green onion tops for color. We're just going to drop those rings over in there, like so. So all we're going to do at this point is pour the dressing over it. This is a great way to enjoy watermelon, especially if you get tired of just eating it plain. And plus, it's good for you. Let's see if we can just toss that around and just let that watermelon get around in that olive oil. And we're going to use some fresh mint. And I'm going to get that right now. Now, to get the full flavor of mint, you need to crush it. And if you want to, I like mine whole so you can see it. But if you want to, you can just snap those leaves off and just do a quick chop, chop, chop on them. And that'll also help release that flavor. So that's good. Now that'll give us some different sizes of mint. And we're just gonna toss that up just a little bit. Now we're gonna add the last ingredient that really makes this kind of a funky little dish. And that's feta cheese. Just gonna crumble it up in there. Look what that does to that watermelon. And you can see I'm not doing it very fine. I'm leaving it in big chunks too. Doesn't that look so good? Such an interesting way to eat watermelon. Now I love, as I said earlier, I love the black pepper with it. So I'm just gonna top it with a little bit more. The flavors are between the mint and the cheese and the onions. You just wonder, what in the world is that going to taste like? And the answer is wonderful. And what goes just perfect with this delicious salad is a cool, fresh glass of my homemade iced tea. How refreshing. It's so good. When we come back, we're going to show you how to use the right herb the right way.
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
Before we go today, though, I want to talk to you a little about fresh herbs versus dried herbs. The dried herbs that you get in the store, like the ones that I decided not to use today, like these, are very, very potent. They're very, very strong. You would need to use twice as many fresh as you would the dried. And remember, when you're buying your herbs, to buy them in small pots so that you can bring them into your kitchen and sit them in the window and you can enjoy them all winter long. And another way to preserve some of your fresh herbs is picking off your leaves, letting them dry out, store them in a jar, and then you can pull them out on a cold, cold winter day and enjoy them right on. And remember, when you're using dried herbs, to just kind of recrush them with your fingers to release that flavor. But do remember, these are twice as strong as these. I'm so glad y'all dropped in on me today. I really had fun hanging out with you, and I hope that I've given you some good ideas and some good tips for your day in the garden with the girls. The tomato sandwiches and the marinated shrimp salad and the watermelon salad are all perfect dishes for a nice summer day. And of course, don't forget a cool, refreshing glass of sweetened iced tea. And until next time, America, I wish you best dishes from my kitchen to yours.
Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.